Welcome to our next adventure with Kimology 411, a podcast of anything and what is Tyson doing now?
Kim, quick, get in!
Hey Tyson, you better back up. What exactly are our plans?
Plans? Where we're going, we don't need any plans. It's an excursion on Kimology 411!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kimology 411, Tuesday at 2. And today, my guest is Elissa Shipman with American Family Insurance, Shipman and Associates Incorporated. I have known Elissa for a few years. Hi, Elissa. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Great. Now that we have all of our technical difficulties taken care of, I'm telling you, every day, every time something comes up, and it's like, now I'm just kind of like laid back. Oh, just do this, get this taken care of. So you are with Shipman and Associates. Now I can tell you my whole entire life, I've known of Shipman and Associates. I've known where you were because that was your dad at that time that was running it, right?
Yes. He was here 51 years.
51 years. Now, did it start with your dad or your grandpa?
My grandfather started here first.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're 3 generations.
Yes.
Awesome. And so you and I actually know each other all the way back from when we were superstars in high school.
Yes.
We were quite the talented drill teamer.
We nailed those drop splits, that's for sure.
Yes, we did. Elissa and I were a couple of the people who could do any kind of splits you wanted us to do. And if you go back to a Kimology, our high school days episode, you'll actually even get a little bit of my history about cheerleading versus pom-pom and all that kind of stuff. And I always had a great time. I think you were the captain my sophomore year, your junior year, correct?
Yes.
Because then I was the captain the next year.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of cool. And then as a kid, you probably were going into your office with insurance and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. had to come up here after school and file and do things. So, yeah.
Good.
That's how I started.
You know, my dad worked at Santa Fe, and on the weekends he would take us up after, we'd go to the museum because the museum used to be right there on the end of Santa Fe building. He'd take us up there, and my brother and I, they had those card things where you put the cards in and zip it through, and it would code them, and you could type things, and they would code these cards, and we'd sit there for hours just coding cards with like messages of, whatever. I thought we were working. We were just staying out of his hair. And then when we got older, Kmart East opened up, and we knew the manager of Kmart East Square Danced, and we would go in there where my mom shopped, and they would put us to work straightening shelves.
Yeah.
I'm always a worker, so I'm like, I'd go up to the manager and go, what needs to be done today? Like, I'm not going to shop. And so they would send my brother Frank and I over, and they go, could you straighten these cards? And so we'd straighten it up, and that was our first jobs.
I understand.
Good times. All right, guys. Well, we do know that this show, we're going to go into my group of restaurants because Elissa's got some stuff that she's going to talk to them about. And I hope you guys, if you're not in that group and you're watching this, you actually can find it pretty informative. I do want to say before I go in there, and I'll probably repeat myself to them, but so far, in the groups that we go to, the networking and stuff that we do, you have brought up some really good points that made me go and check with my insurance agent and keep in contact with them to make sure that everything keeps up. And I love the fact that you're just out to help people. sure, come and get let me do it for you, but you also care about everyone. I like that.
Yeah. We just want to make sure people are really taken care of. Even if you're not with us, we will help you out.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to go into our Facebook group. It's just going to take me just a few seconds to set this up. You would think that it would be really easy, but it's not. So we're going to go in here and click over here so we can go in live and speak to our restaurant owners. There's a lot of times with this COVID stuff, there's been a lot of different things that most businesses probably never thought that they needed. And so I'm hoping, I've been trying to keep them up on what you're telling me, but I think it'll be better coming from you. So let's see here, we're almost there. All right. And there we go. So here we go. So let's go in live and see what we got here. And I never really know when we're live in the group, because it's like you're like waiting for the stuff to go through, and then you're just sitting here looking like an idiot. And then all of a sudden you go back to watch it and you're like, oh my gosh, we were live. Hey, everyone in the restaurant owners group. We are live with my friend, Elissa Shipman, as I promised, with American Family, Shipman and Associates Incorporated. Welcome, Elissa.
Hi, how are you?
I am really, really good. So I want to welcome you to about 100 different restaurant owners in Shawnee County, and then we're about 30 miles radius of that. So we've got quite a few people in here, and I'm excited for them to meet you because you have been informing me and keeping me in up to the knowledge of everything that's kind of changing with what's going on now and even before that. So I know that you have a presentation. I do want to let the people know that I'm going to tell you how you have helped me. First of all, I did not know that my homeowner's insurance didn't cover my office. And I assumed that because my agent knew what I did, that he would know to cover me for that, but he had misunderstood what I had said to him. He thought that I worked in other people's offices. And so we got that taken care of. And then as I sat, when we had all the rioting and stuff downtown, and I sat and watched as the rioters stood in front of our restaurant for about 20 minutes as they held him right there for whatever reason they did. We have all glass fronts, and knowing now what I know, knowing then what I know now, I would have been so nervous because none of it would have been covered if those people would have done damage to our building pretty much. So I have been able to get a lot of knowledge from you. So I'm so excited that you're going to go through your presentation and go for it. Talk to the people, and if they comment, I'll let you know.
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I have about 40 years of experience. I worked for my dad for 35 years. And then in 2017, I took ownership of the corporation, and now he works for me. So he comes in still every once in a while, checks his emails, does what he needs to do. But it's a changing world, and it's still changing today, and it will continue to. So I just wanted to kind of give some brief information out to the restaurant owners. Hope it helps out. And if you have any questions, do let us know. Okay. So different types of restaurants. So when you go to get your insurance, make sure you're under the right classification. You might be fast food, full service, some limited cooking. You could even have a cart or a truck. So those types of things can be insured now, and very easily. But it depends on what types of foods you're going to serve. If you are going to do liquor or have bars or dance floors, all those kinds of things factor into your liability exposure if you're going to have people getting up and dancing or being on a stage, for instance. The next thing is your experience in operations. So when you go to get insurance, it might be your first restaurant. but you might have years of experience in the restaurant world. Make sure you make that known. It will help you get a lower rate and get you more experience in your corner so that you can get discounts and different things that are available. And if that person's maybe going to mentor you for a while, that'll help as well. But you'll need to know some of these items. So if you're going to, what are you wanting to fix in your restaurant? Are you going to have a grill, or are you going to have open flame? Those types of things require other different kinds of, say, kitchen items and different kinds of surveys. So you'll need to know what you're going to do. If you don't have any claims, that's great. Make sure you get that information down showing that you are claims free or you have limited claims.
So that what's very important when you're dealing with your insurance agent is you need to be 100% open with them. Tell them everything. There should be no secrets, because some people are like, oh, well, we might do this over here a little bit, but it's not a lot. Insurance is kind of like that person where you really probably should tell them anything you're expecting to do.
Yeah, and a lot of times we can help. Sometimes they think it means we're not going to help them. I mean, if somebody tells me, well, this is my first restaurant, I'm like, that's okay. Have you ever worked in a restaurant before? How many years of experience? What different jobs have you done? And all that information can go down on the application and help you out. So being as honest and open helps us help you.
Right.
So you have some information on the building itself, wherever you're going to set up shop, or if you're in a truck or a cart, this can be a little bit different. But it matters whether you're in a building, in a mall, because if anything happens in your structure or their structure, it can carry over from one business to the next business. You need to check, if you're going to do some things with open flames, that you have a fire suppression system. The UL 300 is pretty standard. If you're talking about open flames, you would need to have service contracts showing that you have these items clean or inspected. And if there's going to be an automatic sprinkler system in the building, those types of things you will be surveyed on. So we'll have people tell us that, oh yeah, I have a sprinkler system. And then the surveyor goes out and there's no sprinkler system. So just state up front what you have, or maybe what you expect to have, and if you expect to get it, when. And some of those items can be looked at and some of them can't be. So it kind of just depends, but you just need to try to be as honest as you can about it. So optional coverages. If you have liquor, you're going to need liquor liability. If you're worried about earthquakes, employment practices liability, I highly recommend this. If you are hiring and firing employees and anyone says that you fired them for an incorrect reason, you would need that kind of insurance to make sure that you're protected as the business owner. If there's a fire, a tornado, a windstorm, and part of the building is damaged and it has to be rebuilt, it can be something so simple as glass or anything else. If the city, county, state has changed their ordinance laws, you will have to repair or replace back to those ordinance laws. And it can be a lot of money at times if it's a rebuild of some kind. It can add a lot to your expenses, but if you have an endorsement on your policy, it can help. What if you lose your keys, or you get rid of an employee and you want some lock replacement coverage just to change the keys out? There's spoilage, food contamination. Those are kind of self-explanatory. It can be, like the power went out, something to that nature. Employee dishonesty, or there's coverage also for theft from an employee or from a customer. What if a customer goes and runs, steals a table running out the front door or something. I mean, there can be that. If you're going to do delivery services, what if they fail to deliver, or they go to the wrong place, or somebody picks up all the food to go deliver it and then they take it home and they have a little party themselves? There are all those kinds of things you need to consider, how to protect yourself from a large loss or a large claim. Your equipment can break down. If you're using a computer system, you may want some electronic data coverage, or there's documents, there's valuable papers that can be included in that. That increase is supposed to be cost, of construction. That can be if you had to build out from where you're at now in order to follow the guidelines that are available at the time of a claim or something. And the accounts receivable, we kind of went over that. This is a big one now. All the policies that are out there for auto, home, business did not include violence recovery, riot, civil commotion. A lot of that's excluded. It wasn't something that was really brought to the forefront until of recent. American Family reached out to their brokerage company, who reached out to Lloyd's London, and now has a policy that you can get. It's about $250, but it can cover if somebody does something to your property, or maybe they just can't get to your property because there's a wall of people in there. And it does kind of help out too. There's a lot going on right now. So some of the items that I went ahead and put in here was like, it does for some counseling too. If, because some people are really devastated, their entire business may be wiped out. Right. There's some medical involved. There's some crisis management in there. Or this one here is like if there's a loss of income because people can't get to your location. So there's some different options you can use with that. And they're kind of really important right now to know about these types of coverages. I went ahead and kind of included some more things on there, but there's, you're with your customers or civil authority and that type of thing. There is a 2-hour waiting period. So you can't wait till they're at your place of business. You're going to have to be just a little bit ahead of that. So it's kind of something that we're all having to deal with today. And it may be something that continues into the future. I don't know, but we really needed that for businesses that were facing huge losses to get them a little bit of help and protection. American Family and other companies may provide as well, but we have local claims. So there's somebody available to come to you, talk to you, as long as COVID rules allow it. They can still do it by phone, or however, there's different cities that have banned them from going out sometimes during this process, but they also have proactive safety. So you can have somebody come to your restaurant or where you're even thinking of being, and they can give you materials and information that help you not have a liability claim or be sued about something. They know maybe if you moved the refrigerator over here or did this over there, that would be a better plan, or how far maybe a table or chair should be from a door. They're more than willing to work with people and try to help them because it helps everybody then. They also have business classes you can take. There's a link. You can go on and you can take different business classes and learn about different things in your field or even another field, and it's all for free. So it's kind of nice that they want you to succeed and they want you to grow and they want to make sure that you stay in business. It's kind of a scary world out there at times, and they want the best for everybody involved.
I'm always amazed at all the information that's actually out there that companies like American Family, and I even think we had like a Evco, or one of the people were on there, that their company has all this extra stuff that we could do. And unfortunately, I think as especially restaurant owners, we never ever take the time to use those resources out there. And I just to tell people they're very, very, very important to helping you maybe strategize a little bit better, run your business more efficiently, and all that stuff. There's so much data out there, because like I wouldn't have known that this was available. Just like I didn't know that Evco did the menus and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, what? And so, you're told, like someone will say it to you. And what I like about doing the video is you can come back and watch it at your own time. That's why I'm doing these videos, because for you to go in and try to speak to these 100 people and tell them stuff, their minds are busy in the middle of something. And then in these videos, they actually get to stop and be like, I can watch this now and try to learn from this right now.
Right. And we even try to circle back yearly. And, that first year in any business, it's just a little crazy. And sometimes people have been hesitant. They're like, oh, but I'd have to clean up. It's like having company over to your house. I'd have to clean up first. I couldn't let anybody in here. Everything's a mess. Things aren't where they're supposed to be. And it's like, that's the exact time you should, because, this person's not coming in to grade you or try to find things. This person's coming in and going, okay, we understand you just went to the store, you walked in and everybody threw stuff down. Okay, fine. Maybe if we move this or that, there's going to be a table right here that'll be out of the way and it won't be on the floor, and everybody can just throw the items there. And then as you get a time to put them where they belong, that's where they'll go.
Right.
So it's just nice, because people are always like, no, everything's a mess, I can't do that. And I'm like, that's exactly the time you should do it, right? Because it helps people understand the real flow of your business, the stuff that really happens, not after you've like tried to clean it all up and make it perfect, because they're still going to try to help you find things.
Yeah, that's it. And my philosophy right now is, I think you do a lot better when you are when you organize your day a little bit better. And so if you make this a priority and important, then it just becomes part of the day. I like, every time I get something done, I send my agent an email like, hey, I just got siding, I just got windows, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do with my own insurance, because I know that he isn't going to reach out to me and say, hey, did you do any work on your house? Did you buy a new piece of equipment? So, it's very important to have a very close relationship. We've had multiple claims on our insurance due to fire. The homeless person caught the building next to us on fire, closed us down for quite some time, and it was hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage, of smoke damage, because that's ridiculous. I mean, that it's still smelled like smoke like a year and a half later. Not as bad, but we had that. We also had one that ours didn't think we were covered, but we had someone that hijacked into our computer system and locked it down and wanted us to send them Bitcoin to release it. And we just shut our whole entire system down and basically disconnected to the internet, had to wipe all of our computers clean and start from scratch, like reinstall our POS system. We lost all of our client information, all of our customer information, because the backup also got hijacked. It's just what happened. So when we called the insurance company, they were like, well, I don't really think you have that, but if someone steals something from you, and then they called me back and said, yeah, you've got $25,000 worth of coverage for that.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you got to run it, even though I've been here a long time, I still don't know something every single day, because there's always just a little bit different scenario to it. And so we check with claims and underwriting, because if there's a way to help people out and get something paid, absolutely want to do that for them.
Exactly. I mean, and another thing is I honestly believe you have to have a really good relationship. There's a few people you need to really, really have a tight relationship with. And I do believe with everything that we've been through with our restaurant, it is your insurance agent. I mean, they should know you by first name. They should know who you are. I mean, you're not bothering your insurance agent if you're asking legitimate questions of trying to keep your business safe. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And so a lot of people are like, I don't want to bother them. No, they really would rather you bother them now than you yell at them later because you didn't have the right coverage.
Yeah. And we call everybody for a review every year, or reach out to them by email or mail, however their communication preference is. And some of them were like, well, I don't want to buy anything. I said, I'm not selling you anything today. Even if you wanted it, that's not what this is about.
Right.
This is about going through what you have, because you need a refresher. Like you said, you've called your agent, you've told them this and this and this. So each year you need to sit down and kind of review that and make sure that everything is still like it is. And there's new things that come out all the time.
Right.
There's Ring doorbells or doorbell devices now that go to your phone are discounts that didn't used to be. There's identity theft coverage that didn't used to be because it wasn't a thing. Now there's, violence recovery insurance. That wasn't a thing.
Right. Well, and one thing that a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't know, was home offices are not covered under your home owner's insurance. And with everyone moving home from their office during this pandemic time through the virus, and they're bringing, computers and stuff home, and they're going out and buying new computers and desks, and they're taking a room out of it. I try to let people know, I'm like, you really need to call up and make sure that it gets covered, because it could be covered and it could not be covered. It just kind of depends on the situation. And since my whole entire basement is my office, this is my job. This is where I work all the time. I called up, and I think it's, like $20 a month or something, just to make sure that I am covered because of my home office. And so home office delivery, if you need to have insurance, correct? If you decide you're going to deliver food, you probably need to have some sort of different insurance. If you hire someone to come in and deliver your food, you're not using one of the third party people. You're just using your own people. So let's say John says, hey, if you need to deliver food, call me. John comes in John's vehicle and delivers food to your customer. Tell us about that situation and insurance.
Yeah. So during this COVID time, you had restaurants who normally did not do deliveries. Like, that just wasn't part of their business plan. But to survive, you have to adapt and change. And so you had restaurant owners switching to deliveries, and friends, relatives, or people they hired then were calling them and having them use their personal vehicles for delivery. So it depends on your type of policy. In some cases, it can void your coverage. You could have no insurance whatsoever because now you're using that vehicle in a business use. That may not be the case. It may be just a simple situation of you need to change a classification. But it does increase your liability. You are now in that vehicle more. You may want to look, if you have the lowest minimum liability limits, those restaurant owners may want to have you increase those limits, and they may have minimum requirements with their carrier on what your insurance is. So, because they may have an umbrella policy too. And so they may need to up their limits to get all of that covered and all that be in line, and make sure there's not a big gap there.
Once again, don't be scared of the price that it's going to cost. If you're choosing to do something at your restaurant, you need to pay to make sure that you don't suffer later. One of my clients that was in Missouri, actually, They did delivery through, I mean, they did delivery. They had third party, but they also did delivery through an online app. And one of the girls got smashed into, like had to go to the hospital as she was delivering the catering. And so that, I mean, it just became a mess because you've got the insurance, and then their insurance is like, but she was this and that. And we're like, no, she's covered. And luckily the business owner had everything taken care of. They knew exactly what they needed, and that was good. But still, if they hadn't, that could have cost them their business.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I cannot reiterate when it comes to coverage and stuff like that. And shop around. If you're going to someone and you find that it's, doesn't sound right, there's other agents, there's other companies that you can go to. And my friend is buying a house, and he did his homeowner's insurance. He's so excited. He gets it on Wednesday, and he sends me a message, and he goes, my sister says she thinks my homeowner's insurance is too high, the quote. What do you pay? So I was like, I don't know. So I went and I found my bill, and I pay more than him, but the basic homeowner's insurance was a little bit more than what he was paying. And he is like, well, should I shop around? I don't know. I mean, you can, but it's not that high. Like, yours is less than mine. So, I mean, it's probably in the same thing. And I asked him about the replacement cost and all that kind of stuff. In business insurance, do you have something like that? So let's say that you have, and because I didn't set ours up, but you have a restaurant, you've got all your coolers and all that kind of stuff. And if there's a fire, is there different policies that would say, we'll get it to you the old way, we'll replace it new? How does that work?
We typically write at replacement cost. So you try to think of how much you have in contents coverage, from coolers to dishes to silverware to whatever you might have in your restaurant. They could be decorations. So you pick a dollar amount, and we insure to that. And then if if fire takes it, a tornado takes it, you're paid back replacement costs to the closest like, kind, and quality they can find. So in the case of electronics, like if you had a TV hanging on the wall, it might have been a 40-inch model. They probably don't make it the day you bought it. So you're probably going to get one with more features, but it'll still be a 40-inch, as close to as what you had before. May have more bells and whistles, but
do you have, like, is it like a maximum amount? So like, we're going to cover you up to this. So let's say we go and we buy this cooler, and we pay $2,000 for the cooler. Prices are going up. That cooler is now a $4,000 cooler. Is that something that you guys make sure that that kind of increases with the prices and stuff like that as you go, to make sure, like, okay, well, you bought that cooler, 7 years ago, and if you want that cooler again, it would cost $4,000. How does that work?
So each policy usually has an inflationary index built into it, just like a homeowner's policy would. So your dwelling amount and your contents amount is going to go up a bit each year. And again, I can't specify enough at that review. If, your agent gets in contact with you, or part of that agent's team does, and says, let's do a review, it doesn't, it can be 5 minutes over a phone, go over the littlest amount or go over a lot, but it's very important that you kind of keep an idea on just what you said. Oh, these coolers have tripled in price. Like right now, a lot of the building materials have really jumped up in price due to the riots, due to the fires, due to more people have done remodeling lately. I had a contractor just tell me last week that a piece of plywood has tripled.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm bidding jobs, and I have to be real honest with them and tell them that it probably won't be that amount later. He goes, I'm not taking any more money. The cost of the materials is just rising that fast that I can't even keep up with it. And people understand. He offers to have them even go check, because he doesn't want to think that he's being dishonest. But, things are more expensive.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely.
in that area. I'm not saying every area has done that, but I know. So if your restaurant has a issue to rebuild, it will be more money than you think it will be right now.
Right, right. At least for a while.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to come down or not, but it's very important, maybe to increase your personal property or your dwelling amount right now up a bit, and if you want to bring it back down later, you can.
Right.
But you have to really be honest and do a good partnership with your agent.
Yeah, definitely. So Vic had made a comment about pandemic insurance. And that back in March or April, when I was doing a podcast, I was talking about all the new things that I thought was going to come out. And riot insurance had not even, there had been no riot. So that was
Right.
not what I did. But I did say that they're probably going to put a pandemic policy together because a lot of people had the loss of what was it called? Loss of income
Mm-hmm. Right.
policy, whatever. And all the insurance companies said no. They said, no, that has to do with if you lose electricity or you lose this, that it does not cover specifically pandemics.
Right.
And so a lot of businesses, when they thought, because I didn't even know we had it. So I asked and they were like, yeah, you have it, but no, it doesn't cover it.
Right. A lot of people have loss of income, but you are correct. It was one of those things that was excluded out of the loss of income. I have not yet seen that policy come through. I know it's been asked for, just like the riot and civil commotion,
Right.
because it's huge to people. The next thing I've seen is that if your employees who may catch COVID at your place of business and then they take COVID home, are now going back to sue the business owners. That's just been recent. Now, I don't know how those claims are going to go.
Right.
But that's been the most recent thing that I've seen. Not in this area, but we have received that kind of information that's one of the next things that's coming, to have the business owner take responsibility for lost wages, illnesses, medical, all the above.
Oh, wow.
And that's a lot to small businesses trying to stay open.
Right.
We're all doing things that we feel like we're trying to be safe and protect our employees and protect the communities that we're in, but we can't, there's no way to be perfect.
Right. And unfortunately, if something like that happens, then it sets a precedent going forward.
Yes.
That it doesn't have to be COVID. It could be the flu. It could be, anything that we do. So we always have to watch out how that stuff, turns out, because it always comes back up later going, well, during this, I watch a lot of Law and Order.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good on the law. I almost have a law degree. I think I'm on SUV, season 54. But, they said, you go after it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting since a lot of the counties were actually making up ordinance that says no employer can be sued if they get if a customer or anybody gets COVID from a business. They're trying to put these things through, which who knows exactly how well those work. I mean,
right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch through the courts.
Yeah, because you could serve food to somebody and a week later they got COVID and they say they got it at your restaurant or from the person who brought them the food, even if it's not in your restaurant, and it's like, it could have been from the store. It could have been from anywhere.
Right.
And there's no way to prove that either way. And yet here you are trying to defend something.
Right.
It can turn into quite a lot,
Yeah.
for any one of us.
I would hope that more compassion starts to come out in our world, because we kind of lost sight of that. Now, hopefully we can, a little bit more compassion for the small business owners. I know that a lot of them are hurting and they need they need help. They're, Vic said he's actually currently suing State Farm for not accepting the claim or something like that. So
yeah, if anybody wants to make a claim, we have had businesses turn in claims. Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Because they need to hear the no. I'm not the final say. It's a claims department that's the final say. So we give them the best information we can, whether it's a business claim or a personal lines claim or anything like that, and then let the claims department be the one that says yes or no.
Well, and this is just me, but at every restaurant, if you've lost it and you have that on there, I'd be filing a claim and making them go through the work of telling you no, because everyone I talked to thought when you say loss of income, well, we lost income. Oh, yes. No, we didn't do that. Well, pandemics aren't normal. Like they're not always around. So that's that small print that even if you did read it, you would have been like, that's never going to happen.
Right.
So,
it's just, that and all the craziness, the riots and all that, that was just not something people thought was going to be happening.
Right.
It just really wasn't from anyone's standpoint.
Well, and like I said, when I called about our cyber stuff, they were like, nope, you're not covered. And I kind of said, oh, well, if this and this and this happened, I'm covered, but this and this happens and I'm not. So what's the difference? And within about an hour, he called back and he goes, yeah, you have $25,000 worth of coverage. You were correct. So even he didn't understand it. And like you said, you go to someone else and they could have changed it, or there could be something in there. You don't know. So don't just automatically assume that because John said no, or the other company said don't. Make sure that you take it as far until you get the letter that says no.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
That's what I said.
And there can be enough pressure for the policy's language to be changed. And in some cases, maybe they should be, so I say do that.
Yeah. The insurance agents are here to give you peace of mind. Always. It's not like they're out like trying to take all your money from you. Insurance agents do not control pricing. It's the company. And if you don't like what someone's telling you, like I tell everyone, go check out other people, find someone you connect with, find someone that you have a rapport with, because they're going to be a part of your life from start of business to the end of life, end of business. I mean, it's just there. So,
and I would caution you on just shopping the price too, because anybody can sell you something that's the cheapest, and it doesn't matter auto, home, business, or anything else. Make sure you know what you're getting. Another person can sell you something cheaper. Doesn't mean it's what you need.
So let's just say that someone is opening up a restaurant and they go to a competitor's place and they come to you. Can you evaluate just to let them know if everything is okay?
Yeah, I've done that. I've quoted businesses, and I'm like, some people are kind of funny about wanting you to see what another person quoted. I don't mind. I'm like, if I see what they're quoting you, I can quote you the same. And I'll point out things like, I'll be like, oh, well, they have this right here. That's great. We don't have that right there. Or we have this and they don't have that. I point out both sides and I'll make my recommendations. And then, it's up to the business owner to choose. And it's like, okay, if you don't have enough money to do all this right now, I'd at least do these two things here. Make sure you get your loss of refrigeration covered and your EPLI. And next year, if you want backup of sewer and drain or something like that, then next year try to add that, But I think it's helpful. I think people need to do that, to know what they have, to know what's out there and what's available. And to have somebody that is available, not just somebody that's going to sell you a policy and you're never going to hear from them again.
Never. So if any of the people that are listening to this podcast or video, depending on how you're watching this or listening, if they have a policy, first of all, can you only do Kansas?
No, we're Kansas and Missouri, and we're currently entertaining the idea of expanding beyond that. But we are Kansas and Missouri now for sure.
So if you're listening to this or watching this, I'm going to read a little bit of text. So the people that are listening, you're not going to see this. She has all of her slides. She went over them, but the last one, it says stay in touch. So here's the important information that I want you guys to be able to jot down, or you can always go over to Kimology 411 Facebook group and watch the video, get the information, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Kimology 411.
And I can send you these if you want them.
Oh, okay. If you want to, if you can just send me the things, I can stick it in the group as well. But I'm going to read it. So phone or text is 785-267-1741. So you can phone or text 785-267-1741. Email is eShipman, SHIPMAN @amfam.com. Or you can do teamshipment@amfam.com. Their address in Topeka, Kansas is 2900 Southwest Topeka Boulevard. They're right there on the corner across from the brand new gas station thing. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. But we all know Elissa works 7 days a week and 37 hours a day. So you can always make an appointment. She's always willing to meet you within your schedule. Her Facebook is Shipman and Associates Incorporated. You can go to Twitter at @ship-associates. Instagram is @Shipman and Associates. And LinkedIn is Elissa, ELISSA Shipman. So that's the contact information. And I will actually put that information down in the podcast part as well. So you can go back to the description if you're listening to us on Anchor, Spotify, or any of the other platforms that we're on. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining us in our restaurant group. We're going to go back out of the restaurant group and talk a little bit more. So restaurant people, go to Kimology 411 if you want to hear the rest of the conversation or the beginning of the conversation, or go to our YouTube channel and check us out there. So thank you so much for helping out our restaurant owners. I hope that they get something good out of this. And you guys contact them to just look over your policy. You don't have to change insurance agents. She's not looking for you to have to, go to them. That's always great. But if you love your insurance agent, she's still willing to make sure that you have everything that you need and you're taken care of as well. Sometimes fresh eyes and new questions that maybe your agent already thought they knew, she might have something different. So get a hold of Elissa and her team to help you guys out. We will see you later, and hopefully we'll see you again on Tuesday at 2. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we are out of Facebook. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Let's go to not share screen. How do we not share screen?
I can do stop share.
Do that one.
Okay.
There we are. Okay. All right. Oh, so I bet you guys have been busy. I mean, you're always busy. I mean,
quite a bit of the time. Yeah. But we really want to back up, not just do the sale, really help people out and have them understand what they have and do the best service we can.
Right. And that I've got a few friends that all do insurance, and they're go-getters. And then there's sometimes you don't even ever see the agent again. I know my life insurance guy, before he died, he called me every year on my birthday. That was the most meaningful thing. And then when he passed away, I've never heard from them again. I don't even know who has the policy. I get a bill, but I don't know what goes on. They're there. So it's to me, it's a it's a relationship that I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is until something happens.
That's true.
And then they're mad.
Yes.
And yeah, so I want to thank you for, giving me some information. You've talked at many of our different meetings that we network at. And that's why I thought, well, I want to get you on here because I know that you are caring enough to make sure that people are taken care of, whether they're your clients, your friends, or your new friends that you get to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So
it's too hard to have a small business and then something fall apart, it's too much work to struggle like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a staff of, people in there that can help out. Do they contact you directly, or is anybody that answers the phone going to be?
Either way. I have licensed staff people here, and so they are more than capable of handling those kind of calls and stuff like that too. So it can be either way.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on my Tuesday at 2 and helping them. And if you are listening or watching this anywhere, you can still contact her. And maybe if people start contacting her from different places, they might expand out. But just to review your policy, that's still a service that you're going to get someone that then is just looking to help you out and make sure that you have it, and possibly like me, add to your insurance policy to make sure you're covered, because you sure don't want to find out that you're not covered after.
Yeah, that's the worst.
All right, Elissa, thank you so much. And once again, you guys make sure to check out our YouTube channel on Kimology 411. Our Facebook group is Kimology 411, and go into your podcast every Tuesday at 7 a.m. We release a new episode. We just released episode 52. We have over 85 different shows for you to go listen to, and I am working diligently to get them all on YouTube so that they're more accessible to people. I thank everyone for continuing to support us. Thank you, Elissa, for being my guest, and we will just talk soon.
Thanks for the invitation.
Not a problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.